6/23/13. USPS tracking crew. You can't see it, but I have this here because I'm in the basement and there's a leak. There's a. Now you saw the date again, right? June the 23rd. Now there's a leak. There's a leak, right? Now, I'm going to prove to you I paid the water bill too. It was due, the water bill, you see it was due June the 27th. It was paid. The water bill was paid ahead of schedule. Today is the 23rd. Now there is a water leak. Now I called the boiler people. They said the leak is beyond the main. Okay, so it's up in this area. See this in this area. I called DEP and they confirmed it. They said if the DEP said if the leak is beyond this meter, then there is the responsibility of the homeowner to repair it, right? I paid the water bill, and the city has a program now where you can get a service contract for water leaks that are associated with the water line or the sewage line. The water line DEP leak has to be beyond this pipe. So we'll see where it goes. Watch. It's going to be a mess. I can't leave it on that long because the water just pours down. All right, here comes the water. I'm going to do it a little bit because you'll see. You see where the leak is? You see where it is? It is beyond the water meter. It is beyond the water meter, the leak. See? See how it's the water is, I don't know if you can see it. See the water? See how the water is coming down? See how the water is coming down? See how it's coming down on the floor? I got to turn it off but it is beyond the water meter. It's coming out here, but it's originating here and it's coming down. See, it's coming down. It's originating here, it's coming down, and then it's coming out. I have to turn it off. So we see the leak, as the boiler company said, it is beyond the main. See? It is beyond the water meter. Therefore, it is not the responsibility of DEP. Even though we have a service contract. I pay for a service contract and I paid a water bill. But it's beyond it. See, it's going this way in the basement. It's not in the direction of the door. It comes, see, the water comes down and it trickles out on the floor, both sides. But that's where the leak is. The leak is not in any other area of the basement. Let's take pictures of all the other pipes. It's not the pipes before the water meter, not at all. I'm doing this because I don't want any lies on me. I told my brother, it's hard for him to understand. I told him it's hard for people to understand who haven't done that much with their lives when someone has worked so hard to build a reputation, how important it is to keep it. Preserve it. But if you've been a shady character, you don't understand that. So no matter how many times I tell my brother or his wife, they don't understand that. So I might as well be speaking Greek. Or I don't tell these neighbors, but the same thing with them. You know, in terms of Martin Luther King's sense, they're garbage. So they don't understand that. See, it is not, has nothing to do They don't understand it because in terms of Martin Luther King's criteria, the content of their character, they're garbage. And I don't like living in a garbage dump surrounded by all this garbage. But that's what they are, garbage. So we see clearly and unequivocally, and see it's still trickling down. Where's it, the water trickling down? It's trickling down from beyond the water main, right? This way, right? Not towards the door from the street, but beyond it, going into the house. When I was down in the basement earlier today, I said I was going to show you that proof that I had paid the current water bill. It is due June the 27th. This is the first asterisk here. This is a list of my track and confirms. It includes the current water bill due June 27, 2013. Payment was received by DEP June 22nd, 2013. So I'm ahead of schedule. And it also lists the oil bill with Shield Wactor oil for this year and December and November of last year. The payments were sent by United States Postal Service, USPS, priority mail. Okay? All right, so this is the first asterisk. This is the, this is the track and confirm number for the current water bill due June 27th. I paid it ahead of schedule. I paid it priority mail. It was delivered. They received the payment, the date and time, June 22nd at 9:15, Pittsburgh, PA. Okay, ahead of schedule, was due June 24th, and that's the delivered to the DEP. Now, the next one on this list, that's the label number, confirmation number, sent priority mail, delivered June 21st, 2013, 2:08 p.m., Bronx 10461. That was for, I'm on a budget. I pay a monthly level billing for oil. That's my June budget payment, June 2013, ahead of schedule, due the end of the month, June 30th, delivered June 21st. The next one, okay, May 22nd, 2013, payment due May 31st, the end of the month, ahead of schedule, oil 10461. The next one, okay, priority mail. It says available for pickup April 19th, 2013, 5 p.m., Bronx, New York 10461. The oil company confirmed that they received this payment, the April payment, April 2013. The next I have an asterisk because you notice all the others will say delivered. That one says available for pickup. The next one is for the oil company again. Priority mail, delivered March 21st, 2013, 11:14 a.m. Bronx, New York 10461. Oil company. Ahead of schedule, due March 31st, paid March 21st. The next one, the 3 asterisks, that's the priority mail tracking number. Priority mail, delivered March 2nd, 2013, 11:12 a.m. I had 2 in March to the oil company. The second one was for the service contract, paid ahead of schedule, due March 15th, payment delivered March 2nd. The next one to the oil company, this one, again, priority mail, delivered February 23rd, 2013, 11:19 a.m., Bronx 10461. Oil company, ahead of schedule, due February the 28th, delivered to the oil company February the 23rd. The next one, that's the priority mail label. Priority mail, delivered January 17th, 2013, 11:14 a.m., Bronx, New York 10461. Ahead of schedule, due January 31st. The next one, 4 asterisks, that's the priority mail label. Priority mail, delivered December 22nd, 2012, 11:23 a.m., Bronx, New York 10461, to the oil company, Shield Wachter Oil. Why I have 4 asterisks is because, like all the others, the payment was by my personal check. Shield Wachter gave me a statement that said the payment was by money order. No, the payment was by my personal check. They said there's some problem with their accounting, and we're working on it to resolve it together. But I've requested copies of all the canceled checks that I have used to pay for my oil bill. But not only can I get the canceled checks, but I have this proof that I mailed it, because these are the priority mail. This is the label. Okay. This one, November 23rd, 2012, Bronx, New York 10461. I am not on December the 5th, he came. He left 188 gallons. You see 188, December 5th. He left oil, December 5th. Then on, that's 2012. Then on, the next delivery here is January the 4th. He can only leave 7 gallons. Tank is full. Tank is full. Tank is full. See, it's for me, Beverly Copeland. Then someone comes back later in the day, right? Later in the day, they leave 200 gallons. But how can they say they leave 200 gallons if they came early in the day, tank is full, they could only leave 7? Especially because they cross out someone else's address. You see, they cross out someone else's address. Someone else's name on the ticket, and on the 4th, they cross out the name. The day they lived 200 gallons. When they came later in the day, early in the day, they could only leave 7 because the tank is full. They come back later, cross out, give me a ticket, someone else's ticket, cross out the other person's name, put in my name. But how could they have left 200 later in the day when early in the day the guy comes, he could only leave 7, the tank was full. Then on January the 29th, okay, he leaves 145 gallons, right? And then on February the 11th, he leaves 126 gallons, okay? Then on March, he leaves 159 gallons. Now I mention all that because when I asked the oil accounting, Francine, how much oil did I use for this season? She said 900, a little over 900 gallons of gas. Then she sends me a statement where I've used over 1,200 gallons of gas. And I say, I call her, how can you told me 900, this statement is like closer to 1,300 gallons of gas. She said she ran the numbers. Now, as someone who taught finance, that doesn't make sense to me. So they're going to review everything. Now, in terms of this ticket with the 200 for someone else, after he had left 7, I told him when that happened, he left a ticket for somebody else's name. That happened twice in the cycle last, the 2012, 2013. On both occasions, I called him and I said, hey, you're leaving a ticket for someone else with someone else's name. And they said, everything's computerized, they'll take care of it. I'm sure they'll take care of it, find out what it is. If he couldn't leave 7, if he could only leave 7 that day, that means he came to this house earlier in the day and someone else left gas, oil, right? Right? But it wasn't 200 gallons, wasn't that much. This is a small, one-family house. I live alone. I don't use as much oil as I did when my mom was alive. It's like a little townhouse. The oil tank only holds 275 gallons. See? The tank size. 275. And, my mom only has the bestest of, It's a good tank. But it had the name on it here. This is a mailing from Liberty Mutual Insurance Company to Gladys Adewale to this house. The problem is, A, the house has not been sold to her. B, there is no closing date. I told my brother's lawyer about it. He said forward the letter to him. I'm taking it to surrogate's court. I called the insurance company, Liberty Mutual Fire Insurance, Somerset, New Jersey. They said, it's a good thing I contacted a lawyer because it wasn't a mistake on their part. They had been given misinformation. They said that there has to be a firm closing date and or sale in order for them to send insurance company to anyone at an address. Therefore, inasmuch as she has not purchased this house, there is no firm closing date for the house. She should not have had this office affiliate of Liberty Mutual send her insurance information at this address. Number 1. Number 2, they said the house is in the Bronx. Gladys Adewale has told us that she currently lives in the Bronx. The contract that she signed has her with a Bronx address, not this address, obviously. And the insurance company is in New Jersey. I talked to Deborah Huff at Liberty Mutual, and she said that that raises a red flag because insurance is regulated by the states. Why is she using the Jersey office for Liberty Mutual? Jersey operates under different government rules and regulations than the New York office. She should have contacted a Bronx office. So I have so many headaches. It's a good tank. It's a good tank, but it's old. But they say it's okay. So they're going to sort it out. I have so many headaches, Now I'm going to show you why I have very legitimate concerns about my mother's death. Okay, 2 weeks before my mother died, April 19th, 2012, my mother was discharged from Montefiore Hospital, okay? Okay, 90-year-old female, Parkinson's, mild dementia, yada, 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 yada. My mother was in remarkably good health for someone 90 years old. Her medical team consistently told me and my mother that she should live to be over 100 years old. Okay. So this is the presenting physical exam, right, when she left. The patient is awake and alert, appears comfortable, appears chronically ill, because chronically means it's an ongoing thing. She had Parkinson's disease, but it was controllable through medication. And arthritis. There is difficulty breathing. Osculation shows crackles. That's not a big deal for someone 90 years old. The heart rate is normal. The rhythm is normal. S1 normal. S2 normal. There are no murmurs. There's elevated JVP. There is no peripheral edema. Okay? These, however, are the discharge medications. I had questions about it, particularly about the diuretic, the Lasix tablets, 40 milligrams, one tablet a day, 30 tablets, okay? These were her medication. I thought she was over-medicated, especially in conditions on discharge. Stable, evolmic, constipation resolved. And these were the medicines that my mom was put on when she left. Okay. I want you to take particularly note, again, of the Lasix. And the doctor wanted her to be on that dose for 73 days duration. Once a day, 40, My mother never was on that kind of Lasix at home, discharge. And these are the other medications. Now I bring that to normal. My mother was in remarkably good shape for someone 90 years old. She couldn't ambulate, but that's because she had Parkinson's and chronic arthritis, chronic Parkinson's. My mother was discharged. She was waiting to get into a long-term program with Fidelis Healthcare, which is the Catholic healthcare plan. Now that plan would allow my mom to have all the services in her home that she would have needed, but there was a waiting list, and she was going to get in that plan in June. So she was discharged. Now, in order for her to have all the services that she would have in a long-term plan in our home, they said even though she was not terminal, they were going to put her in a hospice program. Again, not because she was terminal, but so she could have like 24/7, a doctor at her call, nurses 24/7, everything that she would need as if she were in a nursing home at her call, should she need it. Now, my mother was in such good health that the hospices that were recommended by her nurse, Carrie Fates, from Fidelis Care, refused to accept her. They said, it's a joke. We're not going to even though we know it's short term, she doesn't need it. Montefiore finally found a hospice that would take my mom short term. It was Hospice of New York. Again, so she was discharged to Hospice of New York. So these are the labs, my mother's labs, that she took the day before, that were taken around the day before she died. The day before my mother died. She was in hospice. This was she was discharged from Montefiore April the 29th. She died April the 27th. So I've been back and forth asking for why my mom died. Why she died. These are the labs, right? You notice the blood urethra 43, high. The creatinine 219, high, right? The potassium 5.6, high. Low, the GRF and the GRFAA, low. Look at this, terrible. Given my mother's health, I'm asking for explanations. They said they're going to call me this week. I've been asking. The proton high, 15 point. For someone who left the hospital 2 weeks earlier, so good for all of this to happen. I want to know what happened to my mother, because anyone who knows me knows I was diligent. I followed the instructions of the medical team to the letter. I was diligent, conscientious, steadfast. My mother, my most important teacher, no one else comes close, and my best friend. So I was diligent. And my mother stood by me when, I had the nervous breakdown that people are not supposed to recover from. My mother was one I could count on one hand, the people who stood by me. It really is, human nature, from someone who had been such an extraordinary achiever to have a nervous breakdown. People were laughing at me, ridiculing, making fun at me. It was easy for them to buy into all of Columbia University's lies and smears. Not my mother. She did not abandon me. I cannot emotionally abandon my mother for some Jew filth, right? Who want me to do that so that I would commit suicide. As someone who wanted to be a psychiatrist, I see through them. I see through them. I clearly and unequivocally see through them. It's bad enough they did what they did to my mother. Now they're trying to make me not have the venomous hate that I have for the people who did what they did to my mother, to make me commit suicide, to kill me. There's no low that a Jew will go to. Jews say that about the Nazis. I say that about the Jews. So, it's hypocrisy for them to criticize me when they have the same venom I have for them that they have for the Nazis. I am not a Holocaust denier. I will never deny my great and honorable mother's personal Holocaust. I want explanations. This is why I say I believe my mother was murdered. True, they did cut back on the diuretic, but I remember when she was discharged, I got home and I saw that high Lasix. I immediately called Montefiore to talk to her doctor, Dr. Millman, Lisa Millman, and she refused to speak to me. And Montefiore said, your mother was discharged today. You can't, Dr. Millman's not going to talk to you again. But I said, I have questions about the medication. She's not going to talk to you. And they refused to talk to me. She says, talk to your new team. So I talked to them, and the doctors kept saying, we want to see the labs. We want to see the labs. And they didn't take the labs to 2 weeks later. They did cut back on it a little bit. But I want explanations. What happened to my mother?